Your biggest, most soul-crushing problem right now, that looming deadline, that difficult conversation, that sense of inadequacy, is actually invisible 200 miles up. If you were to rise just a few thousand feet above the street where you're standing, the noise that currently feels like a deafening roar, the noise out there with all that beeping going on, would soften into a whimper. From the edge of our atmosphere, there's no borders, no corporate hierarchies, no failed auditions. There's only a pale blue marble hanging in the silent, infinite void. Most of us spend our lives trapped in the micro, obsessing over the stitch of a costume or the pixel on a screen, while we completely lose sight of the masterpiece we're a part of. We are drowning in the details of the day, forgetting that we are celestial beings having a very brief human experience. Today in our Season 5 finale, we aren't looking at how to face your challenges. We're looking at how to walk with them by changing your altitude. This season, we've journeyed through the rubble of our own disintegration, walked the quiet hallways of transition, and learned to read the biological markers in our own bodies. Today we're capping off this journey with a concept that shifts the very foundation of how we perceive reality, the overview effect. Originally reported by astronauts, this is a cognitive shift that occurs when you see the Earth from space, a sudden realization of the fragility and interconnectedness of life. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to cultivate this macro vision while walking the stressful streets of your own life. You're going to learn how to silence high-functioning anxiety and reframe your daily struggles as essential brushstrokes on the massive canvas of human history. We're moving beyond the small-scale drama of winning and losing and stepping into a state of cosmic alignment. If you're struggling with high-achiever anxiety or chronic overthinking, and you feel like the walls of your daily life are closing in on you while the rest of the world moves on, then this video is for you. For over 40 years, I've navigated some of the highest stakes stages in the world. From professional dancer to Disney associate producer, I've worked with thousands of elite performers and high-achieving executives. In the arts, micro details like the angle of a hat could turn what might otherwise be a ridiculous puppet into the neck of a giraffe. Cannot tell you how tricky it was getting the angle of that hat just right on the different bodies all over the world as I mounted productions of The Lion King. Macro details, like the ability to pull back and look at the whole picture, allow me to ensure that the giraffes crossed in front of the rising sun exactly as the cheetah made her entrance, turning dancers and puppets into an iconic image that impacted all of theater forever. Being able to go back and forth between the micro and macro views allowed me to remount Lion King 14 times around the world. This is a version of the overview effect. Sometimes the angle wasn't right, but the picture worked, and obsessing over the angle might ruin your ability to see the whole picture. And the ability to see the whole picture allowed me to handle all those micro details that were often impossible to address all at once. At the end of this video, I'm going to provide 3 practical tools to help you mentally trigger your own overview effect. Because walking with lions means being able to come out of the micro view and see the bigger picture. Welcome to Season 5 of Roar. In our last episode, we explored Sonder, the realization that every person you pass is living a life as vivid and as complex as your own. Now we're going to take that empathy and expand it until the entire planet becomes our community. This brings us to the overview effect. The term was coined by space philosopher Frank White in 1987 to describe the transformative experience astronauts have when viewing the Earth from outside. Psychologically, it's a state of self-transcendence. When astronauts look back at the Earth, they don't see countries, they see a single, fragile organism. They report a sudden disillusion of the ego and a deep sense of responsibility to protect the whole. As an artist, I spent decades in a state of micro-obsession. When you're Alvin Ailey or The Lion King, your world can shrink down to the size of a single rehearsal studio. You worry about whether the director noticed your stumble, whether you're relevant compared to the younger dancers, or whether the New York Times review will validate your existence. These things we stress about, and that's okay, no judgment. I admit it, I have sat in the wings of many theaters with my heart rate at 160, feeling like my entire existence as a human being rested on my ability to perform a 1-minute solo. And if you're a perfectionist, you understand what I'm talking about. That thing you're doing is so important! And it is, in the context of that microvision. It's exhausting, it's draining, and it creates a cage of self-doubt. Losing my big Disney job forced me to reinvent, reassess, and restart my life. Coming across the boundlessly talented children at the Harlem School of the Arts allowed me to realize that I was part of something much bigger than a role I danced at Ailey or a job title I carried with Disney. I was on the earth to turn on the light for people and help them through their challenges. This was the overview effect in my life. The psychology of the overview effect teaches us that when we pull back, we stop being the victim of our story and start being the observer of our life. We realize that most of what we call problems are actually just shenanigans, noises and distractions that lose their power when viewed from a higher altitude. That's not to trivialize the real challenges we face, it just helps put them in perspective. If exploring this overview effect is helping you see your life from a wider lens, please hit the like and subscribe. We're building a tribe of high achievers who will lead with the macro perspective. And stay with me because those practical steps that trigger this shift are coming up next. So how do you walk with the lion of overwhelming daily life? By using the overview effect. How do you stop treating your mistakes like catastrophes and start treating them like data points? Here are 3 actionable tools to help you perform a sacred zoom out. The 100-year perspective. Most of the things that keep us up at 3 o'clock in the morning won't matter in 6 months, let alone a century. When a problem feels overwhelming, ask yourself, in 100 years, will this specific event have impacted the course of human history? If the answer is no, and it most always is, give yourself permission to lower your heart rate. You aren't being lazy, you're being accurate. You are categorizing a micro moment correctly so you can save your energy for the macro purpose. A simpler version might feel like, will this matter in a week, in a month, in 6 months? Sometimes it does, but will it matter in the bigger scheme of things? When you look back at your life, many of these moments will be just a blip on the continuum if you remember them at all. Give yourself some grace. Our brains associate physical height with mental breadth. When you're caught in an overthinking spiral, change your physical attitude. Go to a rooftop, climb a hill, or simply look out a window. You can also imagine what an overview of your environment may look like high above you. Look at or imagine the horizon. From that height, notice the size of cars and the people below. Remind yourself, I'm not the scene, I'm the one witnessing the scene. This creates psychological distance between you and your stress. This is very tricky in the heat of the moment when you're stuck in your mind cycle at 3 a.m. I've tried this many times, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But it works more often than you might think. Remind yourself you are part of something much greater than your current circumstance. The Celestial Connection Ritual. Nature is the ultimate reminder of our place in the order of things. Once a week or more, spend 10 minutes in total silence under the night sky or out in nature. Don't look for answers, just be with the environment. If you can be under the night sky, imagine that the light hitting your eyes may have left that star millions of years ago. It's been traveling across the universe to you for millions of years. And it began that journey millions of years ago. You are an essential part of our vast universe. This ritual calibrates your internal compass. It reminds your nervous system that you are safe because you're part of an infinite, enduring system that is much larger than your current situation. I do this all the time. I think about my life and I'm sitting at my desk, I'm having a stressful moment and go, Aubrey, this is a moment in the arc of your life. And when you look back at it, you will likely not even remember this moment. It's real now and it feels intense. And if I raise my sight above and look down at my life and my environment, I feel like, yes, I'm a part of something much bigger. I'm a part of something much more important. And I can't let these little moments derail that larger macro purpose. And it does help a little bit. These things pass. And they pass quicker if you can take a step back or up. The overview effect can help shift your perspective enough to stop trying to fix every tiny detail on the ground. Remember who you are from the air. This concludes Season 5 of Roar. We've tackled some heavy lions, moral injury, enclosed cognition, and the golden scars of our history. Remember, in the end, like we discussed in the episode about hallways and transitions, the ending of one season, whether it be in your life or in this video series, is the beginning of another. Look out for Season 6. We'll explore how to turn your inner authority into external impact. One planet, one tribe, one world, one love. I'll see you there.